I think some of the same fights that they had were still fighting
It ain't
today.
cute to have an inch of hair when it's 23 degrees. It just ain't cute. But y'all gonna see this head. You know why?
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Look what you created. Everything surrounding me, you made it. Everything so beautiful, the way it flows together. I think I hear birds singing your praises. Amen. I swear you make me feel like I'm your favorite. Oh, it's the way the birds fly across the sunsets.
All right, y'all, we are back with Mom and Dad. We are now headed out into the streets, headed to Salty Girl. It's a American restaurant. It shows that it has like lobster roll, clam chowder. The snow is piled up. I mean, it's extremely piled up, but I don't really feel like it's cold. Now, if you ask the two people sitting in this car with me if it's cold, they're absolutely going to say it's cold, but I don't think it's too bad. But this is not the time to have short hair, I will tell you that. I wish I had a very nice warm wig or lots of braids. But yeah, I'll check in with y'all once we get into the restaurant.
Make it with a pure black sauce. It's made with butter, cream, white wine, lemon juice. Comes with a good portion of rice. Also recommend the lobster roll that comes on a brioche bread with 5 ounces of lobster. You can do it warm or cold. Take your time. If you have any questions.
Well, what we were referring to was everyone said come to the lobster roll. Yeah, so what's your real?
So my favorite is the warm one. It comes with a pure black sauce. So good. Really good. Comes with a bag of chips, but we can substitute for fries or salad.
Okay.
Can I serve it some water?
I would have some with no ice.
Me too.
Water?
Yeah, that's fine. What do you want?
Yeah, ready. No.
Okay, y'all, we're in the Boston Public Library. Look at this huge thing of George Washington. Let me take a step back. Oh my gosh, that is huge. Wow, this is them drafting the Declaration of Independence. So me and my parents were walking to go to the outlet mall that they have here, and we thought the library was closed, but it's open until 5. So now we have exactly 30 minutes to get through it. Wow. So this was Rocking Slaves. So in commemoration of the attempt to arrest fugitive slaves under the Fugitive Slave Law passed in 1850, a man by the name of Sharrock being the first person arrested, but was resulted from the hands of the officers in the United States courtroom and then fled to Canada. I mean, wow, and during Black History Month at that. Senegal Hall, talking about a revolution. So this is Harriet Tubman, Alice Stone, Lucy Stone, Alice Stone Blackwell were all pivotal in the fight for freedom and equality in the United States during the 19th and early 20th centuries. This work showed an early understanding of what we now call intersectional activism. Dad. Did you see her? Harriet Tubman. Wow. Oh, I was saying, so okay, I'll read this one. Go over there to that one. It's actually talking about slaves and how they sold them.
Go read.
Right here? Okay. Okay. I believe anything is necessary to create unjust conditions politically. No, next to that. One more. Right there. I believe in anything that's necessary to correct unjust conditions, political, economic, social, physical, anything that's necessary. I believe it as long as it's intelligently directed and designed to get results. Wow. This is him talking in Gordon Hall, Malcolm X. Oh, look at Martin Luther King Jr. Wow, the Freedom Rally. Y'all, seeing this stuff in Black History Month is making me emotional. I mean, Black Panthers picketing. When America meets a Black man, free all political prisoners. Martin Luther King Jr. here. It's crazy to think some of the same fights that they had, we're still fighting today. Like, I look at this and I think there's so many things we've moved forward with, and then there's so many things we haven't. Because those are the two things at the top right there. We've come a long way in some of that, and other things we haven't come a long way at all. If you're ever in Boston until April 21st, it's the Revolution 250 Years of Art and Activism in Boston. Hey y'all, so this is Boston and the Boston Public Library. It is so cool in here, y'all. Like, wow. Wow, look at that big old lion over there. Oh my gosh. And then the chandelier at the top. Oh, so cool. Good job, Mom. Good job.
Make sure I got it.
Okay, y'all, we're in the Boston outlet, and we just left Louis, and now we're in Gucci. Y'all, I saw the most amazing shoes in Louis. Oh my gosh. But it's absolutely stunning in here.
Can I see that? Yeah, of course.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know it was like that. Oh. I didn't know that. We thought it was from the other way. I didn't even think that you could do that every
This one's brand new too. It just came out last month. It has that really pretty blue undertone.
Really.
So it's a bag charm.
It's
Okay.
I mean, I know
strap.
clip, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yes.
Because I have some things that need a strap. That is so beautiful. And
Oh,
how
okay,
much
I'm
is
like.
this?
This one is 190. No, 120.
Oh, that is beautiful.
It's 125.
So it wouldn't fit on something this small for a larger bag. Strap, really.
More decorative.
Oh, that's super cute. Take a picture.
Okay.
I love that.
You do? Okay.
I do.
But I do think I'm gonna get the big.
Like, I mean, but it's fun, but it's still classy. Like, you know, but it's still fun though.
Sorry, tell me your name.
Cassie.
Cassie, I'm so
Oh
sorry.
no, you're totally fine. This thing can also tuck these in. And then just be like a cute
That
little pouch.
okay. That's what I was looking
Oh,
for.
flip it again.
Sorry.
There you go.
Okay, this makes sense.
You're looking
What
for
about a sweet leaner?
say again?
I lean to the sweet.
So Cosmico then for sure.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do it.
Okay, I'm trying to decide between the pollinator or the volcano sun. I want something that's sweet but not overly sweet. So between the two, what would you say?
Probably I'd say the volcano because the Diletna is pretty herbal, so it like not counteracts, but you'll hit the sweet and then you'll hit all the flavor from that, and it won't.
Where you're saying the pollinator would be more sweet?
Yeah, because it's vodka. There's a
Strawberry.
little soda water in there,
Yeah.
but we use an ounce of that strawberry sauce. So
Okay, so let's do the volcano sun.
the spicy tequila or the not spicy tequila?
Not spicy tequila.
Because I'm spicy.
Mom, say hi. Say hi. Okay, we're at the Beehive, listening to jazz music, and we just ordered drinks.
I got the cosmic.
She did get the cosmic. It's chili infused tequila, passion fruit, orange, agave, and lime, but she doesn't like lime. So we should tell him no lime. Tell him no lime. Tell him no lime. So for the cosmic, can she do no lime? Did you already make it? No problem. Sorry. It's okay. Sorry. Gotta read. Gotta read. And then I got the Volcano Sun, which is Moscow, Amaro, Gelatini, Blood Orange, and then bitters. We're listening to some live jazz music, and it's really nice.
Mom, that looks good though, different. And you in the middle.
Hey y'all, it's a whole lot of time later. It's almost the next day, but when we got home from the bar, yeah, the Beehive, my auntie was here, and so we sat down with her. She's from Virginia. And then my cousin came from Atlanta. And then, I mean, like, all the family members just start rolling in and talking and cutting up. Y'all, I don't know if all the black people are staying at Doubletree Bayside, but all the black people are staying at Doubletree Bayside. And especially a lot of young people. Like, is it Super Bowl the reason why everybody named Mama is outside? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the big deal is that, like, so many people are outside. But yeah, y'all, I immediately got in the room, unpacked my bag. Okay, y'all, somebody sent me messages or something on my phone. Anyways, I immediately got in my room, showered, unpacked my bag, put on my jammies, washed my face, skincare, the whole shebang. But y'all, today was so much fun. I mean, like, the fact that I got here, and as soon as I got here, my parents were like, all right, let's, like, we've been waiting on you, girl. Like, what's our itinerary? What are we doing? And I was like, y'all, I just literally got here. Like, I'm still in my airport clothes. And I was in my airport clothes all day long. It's such a great first day. I'm getting a lobster roll, y'all, trying. I had 2 cocktails today, which I don't really be drinking like that, y'all. So I was excited that I got to try something new. Y'all Ubering and stuff. Hanging out with my family and stuff like that. And tomorrow night is the party. I don't know what time. But that's why I'm trying to figure out what we're doing for tomorrow because, like, I see Boston Tea Party is a big deal, but it's supposed to really, like, snow bad tomorrow. And so I was like, well, maybe we could do the aquarium because then that puts us inside or whatever. But my parents leave on Sunday at like 4 o'clock. So I'm trying to do as much as possible with them, y'all. And I think there's a play I want to see, but I think I'm gonna wait until Monday and see it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna see it No, I'm gonna see it Sunday. Yeah, I'm gonna see it Sunday. Let's say right before they leave. That way I can go see it. Because I don't really think they'd be interested in going to see the play. But yeah, y'all, first successful day. Calling it a night. Good night. Okay, y'all, here are the hot hands. So it is a stick-on body warmer. Let me see if y'all can see it on my back. Yeah, there it is right there. It's a little crooked, y'all. So, but yeah, there it is back there. And then these are the hand warmers. So I've already taken mine out because y'all, I gotta do a little. Yeah. You gotta, gotta get them warm all day. You gotta get them warm. What is it? I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this. Cause my body is so bootylicious for you, babe. Okay. Yeah. Can I make you say, Can I make you say, Can I make you say, Yeah. Just gonna get these already warmed up. So that way, y'all, when we walk outside, I'm already warm. Because, baby, everybody want to have short hair until it's time to have short hair. Okay, everybody want to have braids, wigs, everything. But I'm just telling y'all, I'm true to this. Even in 23-degree weather, I still rep the short hair. Because again, like I say, it's real easy to just be like, oh, you know,
I want to have short hair. Well, it ain't cute to have an inch of hair when it's 23 degrees. It just ain't cute. But y'all gonna see this head. You know why? Because obviously, I mean, I look absolutely stunning. And then two, because I mean, if I don't wear it, y'all, I look like a little child. I got carded yesterday, and he was like, "I thought you were 16." I said, "Sir, I am 26." Like, I know I'm gonna be grateful for y'all for that in my 30s, y'all. But for right now, it's a little annoying. It's a little annoying. But yeah, y'all, let me do this makeup.
The most dangerous and the most empowering thing that you can do in the society as a woman is refuse to accept misery as your destiny, to refuse to sign up to this social contract that measures your value, your worth, and the whole of your life as something that is, that only means something based on your ability to self-sacrifice, and refusing to sign up to someone else's effed up system. It's going against the system. Sometimes it's as little as just letting yourself be happy, being by yourself, simply being by yourself, and that small act of giving yourself joy.
All right, y'all. We are on CP time, baby. So now my auntie didn't call from Virginia. She want to go. My cousin, her husband, and her 2 kids now want to go. So y'all, now I'm waiting on them. We'll go ahead and put on my Uggs from yesterday that I absolutely love. Y'all, I don't know if y'all are leaning a little bit or if that's just how it looks from here. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. You don't even need socks with these. You know what? I might not even wear socks because yesterday I wore them and they were coming down a little bit. I have on a turtleneck, my long johns under my top and my bottom underneath here. These are what is this? EB denim. I think you can get them on Revolve. They're like barrel jeans. I need to get them taken in a little bit, and then I think shortened a little bit in the crotch area. But hey, with my big coat, you won't even see them. They're just more for the look. Okay, and then of course I'm wearing my fur coat. As my mama say, I forget what she says it looks like, y'all, but she just said it looks like a big chinchilla or something. I don't know. I was walking through the airport yesterday, and this lady said she thought it was a dog. It was a black lady, y'all. I said, during Black History Month, you gonna do me like that, girl? I said, no, that ain't no dog. How does that look like a dog? Somebody tell me, please. I already feel the hand pockets, or the hot hands in my pockets here, y'all, warm. So yeah, y'all, that's the fit. Let me show you with the jacket, because I need to go check on my people downstairs. Ooh, some flew. Pop the collar out. So yeah, y'all, do you see the vibe? Is it giving Dwayne Johnson with the turtleneck? I don't know, but super cute. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at this. Look at this snow. Oh my gosh.
I wonder if my black girl magic is conditional. And do you find it difficult to realize that your weakness lies inside my physical you admire in secret? Like, is my magic really magic beyond the times that you need it, or is it only applicable when you find it convenient? I'm only asking because this black girl magic was never something you cared about until you needed another word, new fashion, or hairstyle, or handout. Your hands out when we exist in a world you live in. And there's a difference, because for us to continue, we need permission, see, because blue lives matter, and all lives too. But Black Lives Matter is not in that all lives group, so why in the world would I ever share my magic with you? America, could you imagine the truth? We've been beaten, we've been bruised, and yet you cannot stop us. The country built on the backs that you stand on top of. America, how dare you try to rob us of our magic that's been put in time capsules since the beginning of our days. We have always been magical, and so I don't find it impractical that every black man will always frighten you in your foolishness, because the blueprint will always be better than the duplicates, and you'll never know what to do with it.
We are living a single, in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girl. Keep your head up, what? And keep your head up, that's right.
Museum of African American History. This is the first floor. So it's Black Voices of the Revolution, Liberty, Emancipation, and the Struggle for Independence. I guess I missed recording when we first walked in, but I'll show you guys when we get back down. So it's going to talk about like the American Revolution, talking about, you know, the Black fight for freedom in Boston, Sierra Leone, the cradle of Massachusetts becoming the cradle of liberty. So let's take a look around. The town of Boston in New England. Wow, I think that this is how it looked so many years ago. There's the harbor down there, Charles River. Wow, in 1638, Boston's first documented cargo of enslaved Africans. Other vessels followed through the 18th century, unloading humans alongside barrels of molasses, bales of cotton, while custom officers recorded profits. Wow. Slavery in 1638. Free African Society, built by George Middleton. He confronted white harassers with a musket, defending a black celebration on the common and asserting his community's right to public space. Prince Easterbrook shouldered a musket on Lexington Green and faced the advancing British soldiers. His presence at the first battle places Black agency at the heart of the revolution. Wow, there's no evidence, but there was lots of Black veterans that settled there, fighting for equality. Avalon, Boston would captain the industry with an all-black crew in 1822. Massachusetts helped legalize slavery and became a battleground for its end. Enslaved people used petitions, lawsuits, escapes, and everyday defiance to demand freedom. Their actions forced the state to confront its ideals and made liberty real, not through the law, but through relentless courage.
In 1871, Elizabeth Freeman, previously known as Mom Bet, walked into a Massachusetts courtroom and shattered legal silence. Enslaved for nearly 30 years, Freeman had listened closely as revolutionary ideas about liberty echoed through enslavers' homes. She turned those words into action, stood up for her freedom. Under the new state constitution, she won. Her case helped pass the legal way to ending slavery in Massachusetts. Freeman did not ask for liberty. She demanded the law to recognize it. Belinda Sutton petitioned the legislature in 1783 for reparations for 50 years of unpaid labor. After 50 years in slavery, Belinda Sutton did not stay silent. In 1783, she petitioned the Massachusetts legislature for freedom and justice. Her enslaver had fled, leaving behind a vast estate built on stolen labor. Belinda asked for compensation. With vivid language and moral force, she described her kidnapping from Africa, her lifetime of forced labor, and her claim to restitution. Her petition made one of the first Black women to demand reparations and receive them. Lucy Terry Prince argued and won a land dispute case before the U.S. Supreme Court. Lucy Terry Prince was more than a poet. She was a warrior of her words. Twice she faced powerful white men in court to defend her family's land and won. In 1785 and again in the 1790s, she stood firm against destruction, theft, and harassment, arming herself with scripture, law, and unshakable resolve. Lucy spoke for justice for the U.S. Supreme Court. Samuel Chase. Her voice was unflinching, her presence undeniable. She did not fight, she triumphed. Phyllis Wheatley Peters published a book of poetry in 1773 challenging ideas about race, intellect, and liberty. In 1773, Phyllis Wheatley Peters published a book of poetry that stunned the world. Enslaved and just a teenager, she wrote verses that tied classical ideas to radical questions. How could a nation fight for freedom while keeping others in chains? Her words traveled across the Atlantic, challenging white Americans' assumptions about Black intellect and humanity with ink and imagination. She pierced the heart of a hypocritical empire, turning poetry into protest. Belinda Sutton crafted a detailed and eloquent petition recounting her capture, enslavement, demanding justice. Belinda Sutton never learned to read or write, but her words changed history. In 1783, her voice, preserved in a detailed memoir, described a life torn from Africa, fraud, and chains, and denied recognition as a human being. She did not just tell her story, she demanded compensation. Her eloquent appeal shook the Massachusetts legislature and led to rare financial reparations. In a nation still forming, Belinda wielded narrative like a weapon, craving space for truth in a landscape built to ignore her. Lucy Terry Prince composed the earliest spoken word by African American women, Bars Fights. Before the Revolution, Lucy Terry Prince composed Bars Fights, the oldest known poem by an African American woman. Her words preserve Black presence in our early American memory. But Lucy's voice did not stop there. She defended families' rights in courtrooms, petitions, holding a bold, unsuccessful plea for her son's admission to Williams College. Later, she argued and won a land dispute against top Vermont lawyers. Across her life, Lucy transformed poetry and protest into acts of defiance and dignity. Who demanded space in a world that denied them a place? Zechariah Porter Atkins. First documented African American woman landowner in Boston in 1670. In the 1670s, nearly a century before the Revolution, Zechariah Porter Atkins bought land in colonial Boston. As a free Black woman, she claimed space in a world built to shut her out. Her deed stands as the earliest known record of Black female ownership in the city at a time where freedom itself was fragile. Zechariah made a bold declaration of his place of mind. Her property is not just shelter, but it was defiance in stone and soil.
Chloe Spear purchased her own home in Boston's North End after emancipation, creating a stable life and support network. After years in Boston, Chloe Spear bought a home of her own in Boston's North End. She purchased it with earnings from her laundry work. Her house became a haven for others, a site of fellowship, safety, and faith. In an era where Black women were rarely seen as citizens, Chloe made a home a center of community power, creating a sense of belonging. Lucy Terry Prince purchased land and built a family homestead in Vermont despite intense racial hostility. Lucy Terry Prince and her husband carved out a homestead in Vermont, raising a family, building a life against the constant threat of racism. Owning land as a Black family in New England was a radical act, and defending it even more so. When others tried to take her, even arguing for the state's high school. Who built independence dollar by dollar.
There might be a point where they might be able to sit at the meeting house. They're also with our CEO. Yeah, Tom Skills. Hey, okay. I'm sorry, just a longer. Yeah, because you know, even Chiefs out. The Bills are going to go this year. Yeah, we have to. Hi everyone, how you guys doing today? Hi everybody. So I want to thank all you guys for coming out today. You guys are the troopers. You guys are the real museum fans. So thank you so much. And so happy. I'm so happy. 15 years in county. And so what I'd like to do with you guys is if you'd like to, I want to show you guys the best building ever, the African Meeting House. And we're gonna go across the way. We're gonna go we might have to kind of dance around a yoga classes happening, so we're just gonna be a little bit quiet, kind of stick to the left, like you'll kind of see where I'm walking. I'm gonna bring you guys straight up to the sanctuary, and we'll talk some awesome history up there. And yeah, if you guys are ready, follow me, and we'll check out our incredible space. You want to go right? So much. Yeah, thanks for being the South.
Quiet.
The power pole, after we built it all the way back to 1806. And this whole north side of Beacon Hill, guys, is where that wonderful community lived from the late 1700s all the way throughout the 1800s into the very early part of the 1900s. Sometimes I wish I could hit a button, send all of us back in time to the 1840s. This community was amazing, guys. It was like a city within the city. It was like a very early version of like a Black Wall Street, right? And we get to meet all kinds of amazing women and men that were everything from doctors, lawyers, dentists, entrepreneurs, business owners, educators, professional artists, barbers, hairstylists, all kinds of amazing people were part of it. Well, and what's really amazing, guys, is that this wasn't just an African American community, it was a global Black community, right? Don't get me wrong, the core community was African American, people that were proper Bostonians, proper New Englanders, individuals and families that were here for a very long time in this area, right? But there are some really unique individuals that came by way of, for example, like Mexico, South America, actually a fair amount of people that came by way of like the Caribbean, continental Europe, United Kingdom, some people and families not that long ago from Africa that were part of this community. And this community around the 1840s was like well over 2,500 people, right? So the global Black community. And at a very early time, they're able to establish this awesome neighborhood, this awesome community, because, and I'm not sure if you guys know this, Massachusetts was one of the earlier states in America that was able to end slavery, was able to abolish slavery, right?
But didn't slavery start here in Massachusetts?
It did, yeah. So just to be clear, you know, you got the habit to end it, right? I'm speaking straight up with you guys. Because Massachusetts colony was one of the earlier places that Europeans were coming into back in time, they brought their culture with them, and sadly, slavery was part of that culture, right? And for Boston, the earliest ship that we know that came in that was human trafficking was 1638, and that ship was called the Desire. It was coming by way of the Caribbean. It was bringing up people from the Caribbean, right? So don't get me wrong, it was definitely slavery here that's happening, right? Now, but luckily, Massachusetts also became one of the earliest states to end it, which is so good to talk about, right? And there were many different mechanisms that were involved for that to occur. You know, everything from, well, don't get me wrong, economics to the culture of New England, right? But also, this is what's really powerful, guys. You see, enslaved individuals in Massachusetts, they were in Massachusetts according to the Sandwich Breakfast, right? And so from 1790 onward, that's what really allowed for Boston communities like this to really be able to happen, right? To turn their neighborhoods into cities within cities, early versions of like Black Wall Street, basically, right? And it was this amazing community that had this building built in 1806. And this building primarily was an African Baptist church. So you see a lot of very beautiful things regarding faith and worship, right? You can almost imagine Martin Thomas Hall behind me, maybe early on a Sunday morning, preaching to the whole congregation. Maybe you can hear the beautiful choir singing up in the balcony, right? Maybe you can picture when people go downstairs to have a really awesome meal after a long Sunday service, right? Or maybe you can imagine on different days, if you went downstairs, you see an awesome celebration after a wedding, a baptism, maybe the occasional Bible study group, right? So you'll see that mostly being an African Baptist church. And also, there's something really important I'd like to share with you guys. Because Massachusetts was able to abolish slavery so much earlier, they had full freedom of speech here, right? And with that said, they could read from, preach from, and study from any part of the Holy Bible that they wanted to. They didn't have to deal with slave editions of the Bible. They didn't have to deal with anyone trying to filter out what they could hear from the Bible, right? And so they could go to all the parts of the Bible that dealt with freedom, self-empowerment, self-governance. So that made the sermons here, especially in the early days, like 1806, 1807, extremely powerful, right? Now, talking about power, that's what you guys will also see here, power and organization. Because this building was used like a town hall. Downstairs, you guys would see all the really incredible meetings with like a handful or a couple of handfuls of the leadership. They had their committees, their planning groups, right? Men and women that were brilliant at finances, they were talking fundraising and which way they could allocate money to do awesome stuff around their community back in time. Up here, this space was used like the town hall where more people could get together. This space was used like the town hall where more people could get together and they could really weigh in on their opinions on the best way to do things in the community back in time. The leadership here was amazing, both women and men. And this was, in fact, a very powerful space for female leadership. In fact, a lot of the women of the community were actually at the center of a lot of the financial generation in the community. And that's what also allowed, this is super cool to talk about, that's what also allowed for very early Black women's rights to also happen here at a very early time. So this was a powerful place of female leadership. Now, what's also incredible to share with you guys is that some of the gentlemen who were part of this leadership happen to be some of the earliest African Freemasons in America. Massachusetts was actually the birthplace of the All African American Masonic Lodge, the Prince Hall Lodge. It was formed all the way back in 1775 as African Lodge number 459. And some of those brilliant men, like the founding fathers of that lodge, including Prince Hall, used to live in this neighborhood back in time. So at a very, very early time, you have Black Freemasons. They're also working alongside community members to turn the neighborhood into a city within a city. So you have to imagine something, guys. With this type of brilliant leadership, the sky was the limit. And if you just look at the history, it just shows. It shows like that incredible leadership was able to do things that seemed like mission impossible. It's awesome stuff. And this building was the place that they used as their command center to do it, like their think tank, right? Another awesome thing that we can also talk about that occurred, and it happened to be happening in the room downstairs where they're doing yoga, right? I can't say they're doing yoga downstairs 200 years ago, but what they were also doing downstairs was actually education. I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but the building that you were just exploring earlier, the Able Sit School, this is really profound. That building was the first public school in the country for African American students. It was a lot of hard work, but this amazing community was able to work with the public schools of Boston, and they're able to build and have that building opened up for their children, their youth, all the way back in 1835. Those were like 30 years before the Civil War. They had a public school for their community. Again, it's that leadership, guys. It's that leadership and that work ethic, right? Now, prior to the public school being able to happen, all the way back in the 1790s, this community, they were in the process of turning their neighborhood into a city within a city. They were creating different infrastructures so that everyone could have the best stuff within their community, right? And one of the things that they also created at that early time was their very own community school. They wanted every single person in their neighborhood to have full access to education. And so what they created was what we call the African school. Hey guys, how are you doing? Yeah, no problem. Now originally, hi guys, welcome. Now originally, the African school was actually happening in different people's houses across the neighborhood in the 1790s. So the African school had a feeling of a home school, basically. I think it's also important to point out that the African school was not just for children, it was also for full-grown adults. Literally for anyone that wants to learn, that's what the African school was for. Now, after the community built the meeting house, this space, they saw that room downstairs that we were about to walk in, but couldn't because of the yoga, right? But they saw that room downstairs and they realized that room was such a great space where you could fit a lot more people together to possibly do the lessons, right, of the African school. And they realized that would be a great idea. And so just 2 years afterwards, in 1808, they moved the African school in that room downstairs. And what's really powerful is that that room downstairs became the major location of the African school because they held the lessons down there for more than half of a century. And so that was basically it. That room downstairs was basically the prime location of the African school back in time. A place where everyone could become the best version of themselves through the power of education. Another wonderful thing we can also talk about that occurred in the meeting house was fun and recreation. You know, sometimes it's hard to think about people 200 years ago. They were just like us. You know, people want to have fun. People want to enjoy their lives, right? You know, I hope you guys are here having fun with me today, right? Well, let's put it this way. They were having fun here 200 years ago, right? So I spilled the beans and talked about all the fun things that happen at churches, right? But think about this, guys. This room saw awesome like poetry nights, concerts, all kinds of very cool community-created events back in time. Downstairs, they used that space for like really fun birthday parties, anniversaries, going away parties, and homecoming parties. But what they also did in this building, this is like my favorite thing to talk about, this became a place for many different social clubs for the community, where they were just enjoying all their favorite hobbies here back in time, especially downstairs. And so you can imagine people enjoying everything from art, to music, to philosophy, debate, literature, drama, whatever you're interested in. That's what they're doing here like 200 years ago, right?
What was the main employment opportunities back then? Blacksmith, different, more employment within the community.
So there were different things. Now, I gotta be honest, it was really, really hard for people to get higher education at that point, right? And so, what's really interesting is that some of the members of this community that were like doctors, lawyers that had the higher ed, they actually were getting their education at schools in Virginia. I think very early HBCs, then coming up here and fulfilling that role in the community, basically, right? And so that was that basically. So as far as God, it's really hard to say like what the common job was around here. That's a really good question.
Because I live in Virginia, so we have like Yorktown, Williamsburg, we have a lot of history there as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But that's a good question. I'm not sure like what the common job was. What I can say that there are all kinds of different jobs that the community like we're a part of basically. That's a great question. You got to be good on that one. I'll have to do a research on that one. But yeah, but basically all kinds of different professions. But it was difficult to get higher education at that time period. And just to be clear with everyone, it was difficult for everybody to get higher education at that point in time. Because if you were going to a college and getting that, like you were set up. You and your family had a lot of money to do that, right? It wasn't so much later where universities were open for everyone to get like education, right? And also it was even more difficult for members of the Black community. And there were certain geniuses that were able to get the foot in the door at a little bit earlier time. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but right over the river is where Cambridge is, Harvard, MIT. This is super cool. W.E.B. Du Bois became the first African American to receive a PhD from Harvard. Right? And so he was almost, you can almost look, well, you can't throw a rock full too far, right? But it's pretty cool to know that he was like one of the first people from the Black community to get a PhD at Harvard, right? And also it took a bit of time to like, I mean, this is really off topic, but like in the early, was it 1920s, 1930s, you had amazing people like Zora Neale Hurston. She was able to like walk into a classroom of all like basically old white men and get her like degree in anthropology, right? So you see like geniuses like that kind of getting a foot in the door, but also you have the HBCs that were allowed for more people to get their access at early time. So very, very cool. But yeah, so we talked about recreation and fun, so that happened here. But most importantly, guys, we have to talk about probably the main reason why we're here, politics. This became such a mind-blowingly profound and important place for politics. Civil rights before civil rights was a thing was happening in this building back in time. I'm gonna knock your socks off, guys. You're not gonna believe me, but I'm being straight to the point with this, right? When people thought about Boston before and during the Civil War, they regarded Boston as being the most progressive city in America. They also thought about the city as being, they believed the city to be, the epicenter of the abolitionist movement back in time. Now, I have to be quite honest with telling you guys, I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys. Not everybody in Boston was ready for these ideas. The greater of white America thought these types of ideas, meaning talking about abolitionism, talking about Black women's rights, or women's rights in general, African voting rights. If you saw me in the Boston Common talking about those things, they would call me the crazy guy in the park. They would call me an extremist, a radical. They were not ready for those conversations back then. People were not like open for it. But what's so amazing is that in Boston communities like here, and also the beautiful community on Nantucket Island, where the other half of our museum is, those conversations could happen. Those speeches could live. A powerful meetings could occur. And to be quite to the point with you guys, this is where the magic was happening. When people said Boston was the most progressive city in America, people talked about this neighborhood. Because this neighborhood was doing all the hard work to give it that reputation back then, right? And so with that said, I'm sorry, my pocket's vibrating. And so with that said, this building, I kid you not, was like the unofficial White House in our country for abolitionism. This is it, guys. This is ground zero for awesome stuff to happen, right? So let's talk about some of the amazing political moments you guys would have seen. Like, for example, let's talk about 3 proto-civil rights organizations that were able to have their meetings here. And these were butterfly effect organizations that allowed for other organizations to even exist, which allowed for America to really push slavery out of its borders, right? The first organization is my favorite one to share with people. If it wasn't the first, it was one of the earliest all-Black abolitionist organizations in the whole country. It was formed by some of the brilliant gentlemen who lived in this community back in time. And it was called the Massachusetts General Colored Association. It was formed as early as 1826. And it had brilliant men from this neighborhood like Thomas Dalton. Thomas Dalton was a very important leader of the community who played a very pivotal role in getting people together back in time to discuss and talk politics, right? Another brilliant gentleman who was also part of this very early organization, maybe you guys have heard of him, he's a little bit more famous, the incredible and very radical David Walker. You guys know about David Walker? It's not there. It's not. Have you guys ever heard of Malcolm X before?
Of course.
Well, let me put it this way. Our good friend David Walker was doing what Malcolm X was doing in this room in the 1820s. People thought Malcolm X was extreme in the 1960s. Imagine saying that stuff in the 1820s. That's what our good friend David Walker was doing. In fact, David Walker wrote and published a manifesto in 1829. It was called The Appeal to the Colored Citizens of the World. He was basically trying to tell people of African descent around the world in 1829, you have to fight for your rights. And let me be honest with you guys, he was being hypercritical of white America in that appeal as well, right? So he was like the Malcolm X of the 1800s, right? And so you had brilliant men like that from this community have their organizational meetings, and they were using this building like their headquarters to try to figure out how to end slavery in America as fast as humanly possible. That's awesome stuff, right? If it wasn't for that organization, I really don't think Organization 2 would have been able to happen. And that organization was the famous New England Anti-Slavery Society, right? That was formed in 1832 in the room right downstairs, right? So the New England Anti-Slavery Society was literally born in the meeting house, right? Now, the New England Anti-Slavery Society was an integrated organization. Had brilliant gentlemen from both this community. Actually, a lot of the previous members of the last group, like our friend Thomas Fulton, right? But also, they're able to bring in good friends from the white community, like the very famous William Lloyd Garrison. It's so amazing to know that those men were using this building as their meeting. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. You know, in 1832 onwards, and again, they were trying to figure out what they could do to end slavery in America forever, you know? Now, it's just 1 year later after that, in 1833, you guys would also see meetings with another powerful organization in this space, the incredible Boston Female Anti-Slavery Society, right? So I try to warn you guys that the women here were like rock stars, right? It was a really incredible place of suffragism, especially black women's rights. And there was an amazing leader of this community. Her name was Susan Paul. She was actually one of the head teachers of the African school. She was also part of a lot of the instructional meetings. She was able to get together with other brilliant women from this community and good friends from the white community, and they're also able to have their meetings here back at time as well. The Boston Female Anti-Slavery Society, 1833 onwards. So all kinds of awesome stuff was happening. It's so incredible to also share with you some other amazing people that were through here. We know that this neighborhood was able to see people like Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, John Brown, even there was a visit from Harriet Beecher Stowe, the famous author of Thomas Cabin. Up here, you guys can see trailblazers in early civil rights, like the incredible Mariah Stewart. Mariah Stewart was the first female African American to publicly speak politics on record in America. She used to live right in the neighborhood. You can imagine her speaking hard politics, early 1830s. She was able to speak to a mixed crowd of people, talking about whatever she wanted: black women's rights, African American voting rights, ending slavery across America, right? Or maybe you can see a younger gentleman. That was William Cooper Nell, who also lived in the community. He was actually the first African American gentleman to write and publish a regional history book in the country. And he wrote this really, really awesome history book called Colored Patriots of the American Revolution, because he wanted to show all of Americans that African Americans were a very important part of the Revolutionary War, right? And you can also picture him up here. How are you doing? You can also picture him up here speaking to the whole of the community and basically trying to show them that they should fight for integrated public schools. Because, in fact, he was part of the vanguard of that push to integrate the public schools back in time. So you can imagine all types of amazing, powerful discussions like that occurring here back in time. As well as you can also imagine the famous Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass visited the community a few times. He spoke here a few times. One of the times he was here, he did an incredible speech where he was trying to inspire young black gentlemen to recruit and join the famous Massachusetts 54th Regiment. Finally, in 1863, finally, when black men were able to join the American Civil War, as soon as they could do it, Frederick Douglass came all the way to Boston, all the way to this neighborhood, all the way here to give that powerful speech, and they're able to recruit over 1,000 men like that. They're able to fill up the Massachusetts 54th, and because of that, they were able to create the next two all-black regiments, the Massachusetts 55th and the 5th Cavalry, respectively. So powerful moments like that were also happening here. You could say civil rights regarding the U.S. Armed Services were also happening in the So many powerful moments like that were happening here, guys.
I'm sorry, I asked a lot of questions. But didn't they move up to Jamestown, Virginia as well? Some of that cavalry, or do you know? Because I know.
I'd have to look more into that. That's a really good question.
I think they migrated to Jamestown, and then, during the Civil War, And York, of course, we have like Yorktown, Jamestown.
Yep.
And we still have a lot of those New England names like Gloucester in Virginia. So, so Suffolk, all that's in Virginia.
Hey, if you're sitting there, probably a good chance they're coming in with New England names. Maybe
And I asked that because when I went to Jamestown, we do have the history, some of the markers there and some of the names that you're mentioning.
Yeah, Jamestown is really
yeah. Some of the names that you're mentioning kind of brings back like, okay, where did I hear that?
Organization, that incredible leadership, right, and the bravery to really step up and fight for what they knew was right. They created the environment where this could actually happen. And so that's why all these people like Frederick Douglass were here speaking, because they actually created the floor where he could come and do it. And yeah, so these spaces are national landmarks. The whole hill is considered to be a national park, meaning it's a really important place of American history, heritage, and culture. Well, I do hope you guys walk away with my opinion. I believe these spaces to be world landmarks, because I get visitors from all around the world, and I know for a fact that people tell these awesome stories all around the world, both back in time when they first heard about it, but also when they come to our museum and learn about these awesome stories today in 2026, especially during Black History Month. You guys have any other questions?
So are you guys federally funded? So are you concerned about the federal funding being cut for this institution?
That's a wonderful question. We're a private not-for-profit. We've been private since we were created in the 1960s, right? By our incredible founding mother, Sue Bailey Thurman, right? And basically, we get funding from everywhere. It's all different channels of funding, right? Don't get me wrong, federal, state, city, big business, foundations, angels, like anywhere, we get money from different angles, right? That was something that we had to kind of prepare for. There was even I can talk about this because it's very open. It was very advertised. They talked about the ILMS grant. Our museum was promised in other institutions were promised more than $500,000 of funding. I kind of heard not that long ago that we still got that funding. It seemed like the funding was going to get snipped, but we have some good friends in very high places. They're they're holding on to it before it went anywhere, and then I guess that money was able to get through. So, but yeah, it hasn't been easy for a lot of places though, and we know that some of our friends in the National Park Service, they had they dealt with some issues being properly owned by the federal government.
And it's preserved. It's wonderful. I'm just looking around.
Oh my God! So
awesome.
Our museum has owned this building since 1972, right? The beautiful work that you guys are seeing was the incredible preservation and renovation work done from 2006 to 2011, right? And actually that's a good segue. The floorboards that you guys are seeing in the wainscoting, the white boards on east and west sides, I'm gonna knock your socks off. Mid to late 1700s. Wow. These are the original boards that were used to build this room in 1806.
Wow.
So you can only picture the powerhouses.
Yes.
The powerhouses.
Yes,
They're walking across the floorboards, casually touching the walls.
Yep.
The best Americans ever in our history were touching these surfaces. Right?
And I noticed that because I looked down at the nails.
Yeah, you can see the little square head.
And the square, the square head nails. That's how you kind of know how old they are.
Awesome.
Now, the pulpit in the majority of the pews, reproductions.
Yes.
Sure.
So very beautifully done to match the 1850s aesthetic of the meeting house after all the beautiful renovations that the community did in the middle of the century. I guess what's really cool to show you guys though, if you see where I'm walking, check this out. And if you guys want to walk through the door, and you kind of imagine the rooms to look like that. And that was also used as a tool for the preservation work. And you kind of figure out what the facility was like. And that's how they're able to kind of raise plaster. Right? And you kind of imagine the rooms to look like that. And that was also used as a tool for the preservation work, and they could kind of figure out what those rooms used to look like, and that's how they're able to do the lake where we got last time. Those things kind of imagine you little double and that was also used as a tool for the preservation work. They could kind of figure out what was necessary. So it's a mix of like very, very original and some recent stuff. So it's pretty cool.
But I would say everybody has questions, y'all.
That's a great question. So this was an African Baptist church from when it was first built, 1806, all the way to the 1890s. The community sold the building about 1898. It was at that time where the African community was shifting out of Beacon Hill more into Roxbury, right? And when they were shifting out, new immigrants from Europe were shifting in. A lot of Jewish families, a little bit of Irish and Italian. And it was 1904 to 1970, this building became an Orthodox shul. It became a synagogue.
Oh, wow.
Because the community was mostly Jewish, right? Now, what happened in the 60s and 70s, the people who created our museum, like Sue Bailey Thurman, right? They became really good friends with the Jewish community, especially when they were doing the research on the buildings, what they were originally built for, right? And the Jewish community let the museum do, I believe, temporary pop-up exhibits downstairs when this was still an active shul, still an active synagogue. And then it was about 1970-ish, a lot of the Jewish community was kind of slowly moving out to the areas that are very Jewish today, right? And they had a really wonderful back and forth conversation where they're trying to figure out the future of the building. They reached an agreement, and that's when the museum was acquired the building from them in 1972. And this is kind of cool if you think about it, guys. The Jewish community very much believed that if the wheel ain't broke, you don't need to fix it. So they actually reused a lot of vaults here from the 1800s, right? And so when the museum was able to acquire the building in 1972, they could, in a very easy manner, bring the building back to how it looked in the 1800s during its golden age. Also, that was very much built to size 1835.
It was 1835. Yeah, but was it that size then?
Built to size 1835.
It was 1835. Yeah, but was it that size then?
Yeah.
They didn't add on to it or anything.
Now, this building was added to, because if you see that whole section that everyone's walking through right now, that's all brand new, that whole annex.
Okay.
So there was no doorway there back in time. Well, there's no doorway there or there, right? So that was the end of the meeting house. And then where we're kind of walking through thin air, like when we're walking up and down the stairs, that was like a bigger courtyard. And about where the elevator is today, I know it's not glamorous, that's where the outhouse was. So if we walk upstairs and see about where the elevator is, that's about where the outhouse was back in time.
Which was detached from the building, right? The outhouse.
Yeah.
It was across the other side of the courtyard.
Exactly. You have to go out the building to the back, and that's where the outhouse was historically. What's also cool is that the outhouse was actually converted to a trash hole, a privy pit, and much later in time, in the 1990s, early 2000s, our museum teamed up with a couple of universities. They actually did archaeological digs in that spot before the elevator was built and all that, and they were able to find really cool artifacts that were both made and used by the community back in time.
In the outhouse? No, in the garbage. It was a garbage. It became
yeah.
garbage.
So it was outhouse and then later trash hole.
Yeah,
I know it's kind of a funny mix of stuff, right? Yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, basically, effectively, yeah, they found really awesome artifacts. I mean, in fact, this is really cool. Part of what they're able to do to recreate what you're seeing, guys, is they actually found, for example, some of the old hardware from the gas lighting in that trash hole. Like they found like one of these.
Wow.
That was like one of the artifacts that they found. It's like one of those. And you can imagine they found it, like, what the heck is this thing, right? They did their research and they're like, oh my God, that was part of the old gas lighting in the meeting house. And so they're able to use artifacts like that to basically recreate what you guys are seeing right now, basically. It's pretty powerful.
Were there any photos taken over the years of things that were going on here?
That's what's really sad. There's none that we know of. The oldest photo that we know of the meeting house is outside in that spot, kind of near where that lamp is. And somebody took a really cool picture of like the front of the meeting house and part of the side of that school building, right? And there's a woman in period dress standing next to the buildings like that. That's the oldest picture that we have of the meeting house. And then the oldest.
What time frame was that, do you think?
Oh God, that's a good one. I don't know the year of that photo, somewhere in the 1800s.
Okay.
When it was an African Baptist church.
Okay.
The oldest pictures of the inside of this building was during the synagogue days. And that was like 1930s and 40s, black and whites. And so the museum had to really work with an incredible team of people to figure out what this room looked like. because there's no known images of this room, meaning like paintings, drawings, photographs of when it was an African Baptist church. Talking about just the interior, like the inside. We do have that one picture of the outside that I talked about from the
Are any of the underground roads coming here, sites coming in? No, right? They're mostly on the street.
So basically, the Underground Railroad, let me rephrase this. Buildings and houses in this community became stations for the Underground Railroad during a very specific period of time. It was the second Evil Fugitive Slave Act, which occurred in 1850. In 1850, our federal government allowed enslavers to hire bounty hunters to come up to free states and look for people that found their freedom illegally speaking, right? It was really awful because there were no checks and balances. And the bounty hunters were basically taking advantage of people, even people that were legally free and born free. 1858 is like a really evil period of time. And so with that said, that was when people had to turn their houses and buildings into stations for the Underground Railroad. So my glasses are doing a weird thing right now. Basically, the meeting house was used a tiny bit like a station, so this building is a tiny bit. If you walk down this street and this is like a very thin alleyway, that's called Holmes Alleyway. It's named after the wonderful Isabella Holmes. Isabella and her father lived in that apartment in there, 2A, in the alleyway. Her and her father were also protecting people in their house. And they also used their alleyway to outsmart the bounty hunters. Because think about this, if you're coming into this neighborhood, you don't know anything about the alleyways or like the back ways. So they would use alleyways like that to outsmart and outwit the bounty hunters, right? But if you go to, for example, 66 Phillip Street, that was the most important station on the Underground Railroad, not for the neighborhood, not for the city, for the whole surrounding area. That was the house of Lewis and Harriet Hayden, and they harbored more than 100 people in their home. They protected a lot of people, and Lewis Hayden, he knew how to, he knew effectively like how to intimidate bounty hunters to get them away from his property, basically. There's a very famous story about him having a barrel of explosive powder, and there were bounty hunters trying to get into his house, and he threatened the bounty hunters that if they walk into his house, he will blow up the whole house with them in it. And so they did not want to try him. They turned around, they got the heck out of Dodge, right? And he was able to protect the people that were in there, who happened to be the famous Kraft couple, William and Ellen Kraft. Do you guys know about the Krafts? They were a famous African-American couple who found their freedom through a very ingenious way. The wife was actually lighter in complexion than her husband. She actually dressed up like a rich white man. And her husband, he played the help. And they were able to find their freedom through that disguise, basically, right? And so there was a point where they're actually at Lewis Hayden's house. They're trying to get further up north. That's when the bounty hunters came, and that's when Lewis Hayden was able to scare them with a barrel of explosive, right, powder. And yeah, they were able to find their freedom after that. So it's a very famous story. William and Ellen Kraft. Wow. Yeah, pretty powerful.
Because as I look at through the church here, I'm looking at the architecture because it looks like they could possibly have used like under the pulpit to hide a couple people on it, and maybe pull the pulpit back and there's a door. You know, if someone came in, it could store people down below there. I'm not saying that they used it for, but just different things in homes, like, you know, little small spaces.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what I can also tell you is that from what I heard, there is a tunnel system under Beacon Hill. You have to have access to it through like certain basements. You'll see like a doorway to nothing, but it's all bricked in basements, certain people's basements. They might have taken advantage of that. I don't know where those tunnels go.
Right.
And they might have been built even earlier as escape paths for VIP people from the State House, maybe. But people who had access to it might have used it for the Underground Railroad, right? So there's that. But I believe it's as simple as this. Where the bathrooms are today, downstairs in that corner, right? There used to be a rectory. It was a living space, office for a religious leader, right? It was in that corner that way, basically. I think it was as simple as this, guys. If anyone had to be put into the meeting house, they would just put them in that room, close the door, and if anyone came knocking on the front doors of the meeting house, people would pretty much answer the door and be like, I don't know what you're looking for, who you're looking for. Get the hell out of my neighborhood. There's nobody in here, you know? So there wasn't like a secret hiding place. It was one they just put them in a room, close the door, and it's like, you know, stay quiet basically while take care of business. So, but that's basically how that.
Very educational.
Any other questions, my friends? But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you had a good time. It was so awesome to talk history with you guys. And if you guys want, please walk around, take pictures while you're up there. And please go across the way too, where we have beautiful exhibits. First and second floor. I thought that the top floor might be closed for a little bit because we have a really fun visit from a sorority. They're doing a fun visit to our museum today. But hopefully we can open up that top floor so you guys can see some artifacts up there too. But yeah, thank you guys so much and happy Black History Month.
Thank you, Tobias. That was great. That was great.
And inspired others to resist and seek freedom. Self-emancipation was a powerful act of defiance against the dehumanizing institution of slavery, and a significant step towards its ultimate abolition.
Thank you, Frederick.
I hope people would understand the stark contrast between the celebration of freedom on the 4th of July and the harsh reality of slavery that I and others endured. I wanted to challenge the hypocrisy of celebrating independence while denying freedom to a significant portion of the population. My goal was to provoke reflection and inspire action towards ending slavery and achieving true equality and justice for all individuals. In standing up for women's rights, I recognize the inherent injustice of denying women the same rights and opportunities as men. I believe that all individuals, regardless of gender, should have equal access to participation in government and society. By advocating for women's rights, I aim to challenge the prevailing attitudes and systems that oppressed women, and to promote a more just and equitable society for all.
At the end of the day, I genuinely cannot fathom myself getting anything less than exactly what I want out of this life. When it's all
look at this, honey.
said and done, when I'm older, I will have my fairy tale. And I don't mind trying 10, 20, 30 times to get, I will have exactly what I manifested.
I don't want to leave them here like this. Oh no. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. All right.
Really?
We're in the Boston Sale Loft, and we're grabbing something to eat. Everybody's ordering at the table. I got the lobster mac and cheese. My mom got the clam chowder, which is the bowl. It's highly recommended. And then my dad got a lobster roll, and my aunt. What did you get again, Auntie? What'd you get again? An extra lobster roll. I showed you guys the view of the lakes. That way you guys can see it. But y'all, it's absolutely beautiful here. I got lots of videos of like the snow flurries and stuff. I absolutely love the African American art museum. I thought it was so good. I took a lot of footage for you guys and stuff, but just being immersed in that history and then realizing that Boston was one of well, they don't know if it's the first or one of the first that abolished slavery here. And I mean, during Black History Month, being here, being surrounded by so many people that were there honoring our history, and that our tour guide Tobias, I don't believe, who is Black, still talked about on camera that he loves Black history and that he loves continuing to find things out and support our community. And it just makes me realize how many allies we have constantly, no matter what somebody may look like, or religion or gender or everything. Like, I mean, so many people continue to support us and show up for us, and I just have so much space for those people. But yeah, y'all, I am starving. Everybody's starving. My daddy is hangry. After this, we're gonna go back to the room. It's about 1:30, and so I think by the time we get out of here, it'll be about 3. The party's at 7. So if I could I'd probably take a little nap and do a reset, but we'll see. But yeah, y'all, such a fun day. I was hoping that we could hit the aquarium, but it looks like I'm gonna have to maybe put that on the schedule for tomorrow.
I don't get on Facebook often at all. Like, look at my girlfriend. Daddy. I get on there just to touch with some of my friends. Yeah. Or I'll post something funny that I think is funny. Right, me.
Come on, man. Hey, you can't even.
Happy birthday to you. How did he watch you? Come on, Yogi.
You down and throw up over those two.
I got you.
To get by.
So I got
Y'all, look at this food. Oh my gosh, this food looks so good.
We're going to ask.
It's chicken, pasta, green beans. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Ooh, sweet peach cobbler, y'all. Sweet.
We're going to ask his two best friends to come say something first. It'll be Wesley Ingram.
It wasn't just me, it was a family. A family took part in making this happen. And all I can say is thank you, thank you.
Good afternoon. How are you? We are already out and about, as you can see. Y'all, I got up early, but I had to get mom and dad situated because they leave today. And so making sure they checked in, they got everything, that I met up with auntie, cousins, everybody. So right now we're headed to the Boston Opera House because I'm going to see a show. I believe it's called Some Like It Hot. And so I had the Uber driver drop me off in Boston Commons because I'm trying to walk the Freedom Trail. Y'all, it's 13 degrees here. So it's very cold. But, and so now I'm walking to, Boston Opera House. But I'm so excited for today. After that, I'm hoping to then go to the aquarium for a little bit. And then after that, we have a Super Bowl party to go to. And so, yeah, y'all, that is the day. Super excited. Can't wait. Probably won't be able to get any kind of filming done in the Opera House, but I'll see what I can get. But just to show y'all, like, how much snow is here in the park. Look at that, y'all. Look at all that snow. Crazy. But as y'all know, I have my hot hands on, obviously. One on my chest and one on my back. Then I've got my handy dandy hot hands and my gloves. And y'all, the head is just out. But yeah, y'all, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
The real flex is how many lives you can positively impact. It's not about cars, clothes, or clout. Influence means nothing if you're not helping somebody to grow. The legacy you leave won't be measured by what you had, but by who you helped. Real power is when your presence inspires action, when your story sparks change, when your content shifts someone's mindset and helps them to unlock a new level. You want to be remembered, make people feel seen, make people feel heard. Share what you've learned, lift others as you climb. The impact you make on others will outlive every material thing you chase. That's the difference between popularity and purpose. You weren't just called to win, you were called to lead, and real leaders build more leaders. That's the flex.
Wow. All right, y'all, it's a little time later. I got out of the play and I don't have enough time to go to the aquarium.
especially because again I got to get to the Super Bowl party. But there's this Wonder Museum. I think it's Wonder, and so we're gonna go check that out. I made a reservation for 4:30 and scarfed down a Happy Value meal from McDonald's in like 5-10 minutes. Such a cute place. So let's go in. Okay. Let's check in. Look how cool the place is though. It's supposed to be like an interactive thing. Okay, so this is the wall. This is first when you walk in. Wow. That is really cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh. Oh, that's cool. Hey. Oh, that's so cool. That's cool. Okay, this is Magnetic Symphony. Use a can to unlock hidden sounds within the wires. Oh, there are 10 different sounds. Can you find them all? Please return the can so it can be charged for the next guest. All right, so I'm gonna do this. Oh, how am I gonna pick it up? Oh, hold it here. Oh, I hear something. Can y'all hear that? Y'all can hear that. Oh, that's cool. Let's do another can. That's cool. Ooh. Okay, that one's not coming off. Okay, I think we already did that one. Super cool. So this is what the room looks like. Super cool. Okay, y'all got a little too excited. Why I didn't hold the can to the fire. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not really hearing anything different. Hold on, let me put y'all closer to my ear. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. Okay, this says a flex. It says, in this tactical dance with the unknown, what stories lies beneath the surface waiting to be discovered? Lean in and touch the fabric. The exhibit reacts to the pressure. So I guess I'm just gonna like, oh, just that, just that. Oh, that's cool. Okay, this says high sensory experience ahead, flashing lights, loud sounds, narrow spaces. Okay, this one says, hey, you're over there. Yes, you. Come check this out. Want to hear something amazing about yourself? Get ready. You're blushing already. You don't want to miss this. Hint, it's about you. I have something to tell you. Psst. Okay, so another compliment machine. I'm so fabulous. Y'all, there's literally nobody in here because it's the Super Bowl. You have the kind of, let me have it focus. You have the kind of presence that makes GPS unnecessary. People will just naturally follow you. Y'all, that's like 2 on the nose. Like, does it know me? Does it know me? Okay, this says, got a minute to feel fantastic. Get ready to smile. You don't hear this enough. Hello. Come on over. You look great today. Psst. Anything else you want to know? This is analyzing.
Complimenting 3, 2, 1. Ooh. You have the naturally. Oh my God, look at that. You have the natural. Have y'all focus. Okay. You have the natural ability to turn stranger into friends. I love that. That's cool. That's really cool. Responds to motion. Oh, that's nice. Oh, okay. So every time I put my finger through it, it changes that. Oh, that's cool. It's a time machine. So now I'm at another angle. There's people in there. But look how cool that is. They can't even see like the top, the spider web. Look at the whole room. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Look, look, look. Oh, that's so cool. Y'all, what in the Harry Potter is this? Watch this. This is the living gallery. Portraits capture mere moments, or do they hold the essence of souls awaiting interaction? How much can be communicated with stillness? These portraits conceal a living, breathing narrative, waiting to be awakened by your presence. I know she moved. Like I saw her move. Oh, see him move? See him move? See how he moved? She's gonna move. Are you gonna move, girl? I promise you she moved, y'all. Okay, it's fine. She don't have to move for us. It's cool. Oh my God, see she moved. I told y'all. Oh my God, look at her. Look at her. I told you she moved. Look at that. What? Wow. That was cool. Living gallery. So I paid a little picture to get my iris taken, a picture of it taken, so that way I could have it. So see, it's Iris, the artist. Hi. Your eye is an artist's lens. Explore the depths of your own beautiful creation by letting your custom setup capture the intricacies and patterns that only your eyes possess. All right, y'all, let's get this iris taken care of. Okay.
Straightforward. How do you do the eye? I usually do the right eye, just because when I do the left eye, usually there's just a shadow cast over it from the way it's set up. I can do the left eye, but it just comes out not as clear. Keep your eye as wide as you can, and then 3, 2, 1. Awesome. You can relax.
Okay.
I'm gonna get this up on the screen in just a moment.
Okay. That was easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't require anything special. How many of these have you done? Thousands. I'm kidding.
Yeah, like many.
I love that there's nobody here.
It's so nice. It's
Oh
because
my
of the
gosh.
Super Bowl today.
I know. But I just want to say go Patriots because I don't want any smoke, no beef. I'm not even from here, so I don't want any smoke or beef.
Alright, so if you look up on the wall now,
Oh my God, look how pretty it is. Oh, okay, let's see. This is immersive theater. Take your time, be a friend of the present. like a little show. Oh, it has like these little seats. And if you can see, there are seats over here. You can sit and just be present. And our wonder dust, stay tuned, a new wonder is on its way. Our installation's off and rotate, sparkling curiosity and keeping the wonder alive. Then we're back to my favorite part, this floor that just like, bow, 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 look at that. Can I hit that, hit that, hit that, hit that, ay, 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 ay. Do the stanky leg, do the stanky leg, do the stanky leg. Hey, 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 look how cute I am. Hey, 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 hey. Do my music video. Ready, 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 ready. Go 1, 2, 1. Hit that. Yeah, I love this. I could be here all day. Okay, you guys, you get to write something on this big old wall here and like say something. And so let's see, are any of these appropriate that I can read? Keep doing what you're doing, you will succeed. Sophie P. Immigrant, make America great. Okay. Like, look at all of these. Like, the crazy part is, like, y'all, look how far some of these go back. Like, this wall is thousands of people. Thousands of people who've put things. And I think it's so interesting that they kept a lot of this stuff. Wow. Speak Up. Each phone is a conduit to voices that creatively challenge, inspire, and speak for a better world. Lift the receiver and listen to the echoes of powerful narratives of change. Silence is an easy path. Will you say something instead? Scan or QR code for a list of speakers. Forget yourself. Become one with eternity. Become part of your environment. They have this like huge thing here. It's a dream sequence. Patrick's work is centered around light and the production of visual effect, utilizing a hybrid of digital and analog techniques to craft ethereal and immersive experiences. This process often resembles textile weaving if were one to replace thread with wire and electronic. Patrick is an architecturally trained artist and designer living and working in Detroit. Sorry, y'all, I started thinking about what we just heard from the telephones. Oh, y'all, this is the lady that made the Louis Vuitton bag. Yeah, like that print. I don't want to pronounce her name wrong. But I do know that she's huge. Wow. So her early life is over here. I have a mind of ideas in my mind. I just followed the vision. She was born as the youngest daughter of a family, indicated that her mother was physically and verbally abusive while her father was a womanizer. She was born in Japan. She loved art, create drawings. They immediately got ripped away. She pressed on. Her childhood struggles with mental illness led to hallucinate polka dots. coming to America, she came to Seattle, or she moved to Seattle and then moved to New York in 1957. My life is a dot lost among thousands of dots. She was making pop art before Andy Warhol. She broke. This says, "Welcome to Insta Nonsense. Do not touch the screens. What is the currency of self-worth? Walk in front and see what they have to say." So like all these screens are changing with different people's like accounts and stuff. Oh, look at this. She's gonna turn around some art. Oh, look at that. It's Nipsey Hussle. Oh, Boston's new exhibit. Fun thing to do in Boston. I'm guilty of being a silly guy. Sound installations. Watch this. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm great. What you got?
Okay, this is gonna be Miracle Berry. It is a natural fruit from Africa. It's a fruit that makes sour things taste sweet.
Okay, I'll try it.
Yeah, of course. So you're gonna want to start off with the 2 miracle berries at the edge of the napkin right there. I would go ahead and chew them up and swallow them. I would say maybe 10 seconds after swallowing, you can try the lemon and the Sour Patch Kid. A lot of
Good morning. I know I didn't talk to y'all yesterday. After we got done with the Wonder Museum, I then went to the Super Bowl party, y'all, and it was all kicks and giggles. Like, I wasn't recording. And we were with a lot of like my aunt, my cousin, my cousin's boyfriend, and then like people who also came to the party. And so it was a time, y'all. We was yapping and laughing and kikiing, and then I met like a lot of my cousin's boyfriends, like childhood friends that are here in Boston and stuff, and they were just funny, y'all. I mean, that halftime show, incredible. The symbolism, like the showing that, you know, people are constantly working and not getting paid correctly in so many countries, and then like him holding the little Grammy, and then like him using so many people that are historical figures and stuff, and like in those communities, like it was just so good, y'all. I mean, he called out every single country. Like, you know, that makes you realize like it's more than just the United States, it's a part of America. And so it was so good. But yeah, y'all, they had me cracking up. They were trying to ask about my dating life, and like, y'all, just I felt like the spotlight was on me. But that's what happened, y'all. When y'all get with older folks, y'all, they asked to be all up in the business. Like, y'all, like, okay. But this morning I've been up, y'all. Let me see. I packed the room and everything, did a double check, then had the hotel hold my luggage because we're going to the museum, y'all. And I'm sorry, the aquarium. We're going to the aquarium. That's where we're going. And we're going to try to see as much as we can see before I got to get my butt to the airport. My flight is at 3:45. So I'm thinking I need to leave to go to the airport at 1 o'clock. But it's 10:47. So that should leave me quite a bit of time. And then maybe I can grab something to bite. Y'all, I can't even talk. Something to eat. But yeah, y'all, I'll see y'all soon when we get to the aquarium. Here we are at the aquarium. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, y'all can see that. Oh wow, look at all this water. Wow. This is beautiful. Wow. How beautiful. Okay, y'all, so I got $5 off in here because the penguins are no longer on exhibit, sadly. But look how cool. This is their little home if they were here. But we'll take that $5 off. And then here, I'm looking where you can like choose the band of the penguin and learn more about them. So this is the yellow one here. I can't even pronounce that. It's an African penguin. Come on, African penguin. Is that right? The penguin's black. Because it's from Africa. They live in temperature climates and islands of Africa's largest coast. When they are too hot, blood flows to their bare skin above their eyes, which turn pink and releases heat. Yes, they black. Boulders. Another African penguin. Who knew penguins were in Africa? African penguins are known for their donkey-like vocalizations. They live in temperature climates of islands of America's southwestern coast. Oh, y'all would have scored some brownie points with my nephew. Look at all the different kinds of fishes. That's cool. Wow. That's pretty cool. Cool. Y'all, I'm looking for Nemo. I can't find Nemo. Where's Nemo? Oh my god, that kind of looks like Dory. Is that Dory? Oh my god. They're so pretty. I found Nemo. And Nemo's son. Oh my god. No, y'all. Nemo's the daddy. My bad. No, Nemo's the child. Is Nemo the child? Yeah, Nemo's the child. What's the daddy name? Is it Carl? I feel like it's Carl. Oh, look at them. Oh my god, what's he doing? Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow. Look at them in the tank, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, so he's so cute. He's putting his hand on the window for a baby. It's so cute. Oh wow, look at that. Look at all of that. What is that? What are they doing? I don't know what they're doing. Like what? This is cool. It's probably cleaning something. This is cool. Y'all, I just learned about African penguins and I thought I recorded it. I didn't record nothing. Sorry, y'all, but it was very interesting. Okay, here we're in like the shark ray or stingray sharks thing. Oh my god, look at the crab. Hey. Okay, you got urchins, sea urchins in here. I am not touching the stingrays or the sharks. Not in this outfit, honey. Not in this outfit.
Around the tank down, okay, and see if you can see our green moray eels.
Ooh, like they sting, right? Like they're real eels that sting?
We have an electric eel in the freshwater gallery, which you'll see on your way up to the top.
Okay.
And then the green moray eels, they don't sting, they just like open their mouths. They go like,
Okay, remind me again. The octopus's name is Taco.
Yes.
Tako.
Yes.
And then the what? The other name?
The nurse shark.
The nurse shark.
Yes.
Okay.
Her name is Siri.
Is Siri. Okay. And it's SY.
CIRRI.
Alright, let me get to boogie. Oh, look at the jellyfish. I love jellyfish. Like, how can something so beautiful hurt you so much? They're so pretty. Oh, they're the mega plankton jellyfishes. So just a little bit about the aquarium. More than 86% of all cataloged North Atlantic right whales were scars from fishing gear and entanglement. We can increase protection of North Atlantic white whales. The new Inland Aquarium is committed to protecting the critically endangered North Atlantic right whale species that have studied since 1980. So a real big focus on endangered species. Look at the seahorse. Okay, is this seahorse pregnant or is it just me? Because you kind of look pregnant, but that means it's a male, right? If it's pregnant, because male seahorses get pregnant. Oh, look at it. Look at Mr. Turtle. Hi, Mr. Turtle. Hi, Mr. Turtle. Hello. Hello. Hi. Oh. Hi. Hi. Hello. Hi. Okay, that is. Yeah, they're cleaning. Holy moly. Okay, now we're gonna go to the fourth floor. It's the top of the giant ocean tank in Yawkey Coral Reef Center. So we're gonna take the stairs. Oh my. Some billionaires type. Wow. Look at that. Holy moly. That is beautiful. So it says aquarium staff dive under the water to deliver food to animals in our care. This ensures any individual dietary needs are met. Let us monitor animal health and well-being close. Cleaning service. Divers clean the giant ocean tank by scrubbing the windows, cleaning the coil structure, and even vacuuming the sandy bottom. This maintains a healthy environment for the animals. Oh my gosh. Look, y'all, look at the big turtle. Hey, y'all, I had to take a little break. I started getting a little lightheaded. But there's some baby seahorses in here. Oh no, can y'all see them? Can I zoom in on them? Oh, let's not zoom. Oh yeah, look, there they are. Focus, focus. Oh, look at them. Look how little they are. What I noticed first in that tank actually was the gardenils. Wow.
Yeah, they're going for it.
So it's feeding time in here? Look at them go. Oh my gosh. Look how tiny they are. These are gardenils.
Yeah, that's more food than I was expecting to go in these tanks.
A lot of food.
It looks like so much.
And that's just a huge lump sum right over there. Somebody waiting, like, look, if y'all can get up.
Maybe some of it gets filtered.
Definitely looks like the fish from Nemo, y'all. The one that, like, had the big old scar. I feel like I said that. Did I say that? Oh my god, look at him go. Oh my gosh. Look at all those suction cups. Wow. Look at that.
Give me fish. Wow. I am food. I hope he gets to in the right side.
And she said, and I'm out, girl. Thanks for seeing me.
She is a juvenile, so she will grow much bigger. She's about my height, and one day she'll grow to 10 feet.
Shut up. Okay, so we got Myrtle the turtle, Carolina the turtle, and say the other one?
Retread.
Retread. And is that something to do with the species?
So her name comes from her, like, origin story.
Okay.
So when she was rescued, they thought that she was a goner for short, but she ended up, reviving in the morning. So she was like, retread, become into action again.
Wow.
I'm not sure. It was 89, so that's when they named her.
She came back. Girl, you're playing with my nervous system. Like, you're just like, she's like, yeah, I'm not going to stay where you want to stay.
She's probably swimming back to the other side of the tank around window 10 and then swimming back over to window 15.
Wow. Okay, now this is a crazy question. Do they ever get tired? These just going back and forth.
Yeah, some people, I think that's a great question because some people are surprised when fish aren't swimming. I'm more surprised that they're always swimming. Some species, it's helpful. Some species have to have the water, against their gills so that they can get oxygen out of it. But some species will definitely rest. And so when a fish rests, they just sort of like place themselves down or they find themselves in a little corner, something where they don't have to move quite as much. She is a bottom dwelling shark, so unlike an open ocean water shark, she doesn't have to keep moving to breathe. So that's why she rests in her cave. So she has a special adaptation called spiracles behind her eyes to help her to breathe. So it passes water over her gills even when she's not moving. So yeah, some of the fish will rest, and some of them will move more constantly. So their rest looks a little bit different because they also have nictitating membranes instead of eyelids. So
what's your degree in?
My degree, I studied environmental science.
Okay.
So yeah, I work in our conservation education department. I'm just very interested in marine biology. I definitely took some marine biology courses. But a lot of my learning happened here from our own training as well. I think the most important, thing to us is to understand, like, how everything fits together, and to, like, protect the animals out there in the wild. And then, if you're curious, you can definitely learn, and obviously most of us are, you learn more and more about the animals every time you're here.
Definitely.
We're kind of learning with everyone.
So just being from Texas, my mom was born in Atlanta, so I've been to the Atlanta Aquarium millions of times. But we came here for a birthday party, my family and I, and they're already back in Texas. And so I was like, I gotta go to the aquarium. Like, everybody says go to the aquarium. And so I got up to the front, and I was telling someone at the front desk, and she was like, well, I'm going to tell you. She was like, this is much smaller than Atlanta. Like, this is much small. She was like, Atlanta has this one, this animal, and this animal. I was like, okay, I didn't really know they had all that. But it's still an appreciation, I said I was a little sad that the penguins weren't here, but hey.
Yeah. No, I miss them. I miss them dearly. They're definitely a big presence here.
I heard about the squawking, about the very loud, very loud
and
car alarm.
Like, it's very rare for them not to be here. It's been like years and years and years.
These are the Atlantic Harbor seals. Y'all, look at him. He's so cute. Oh. They were just doing some tricks a second ago. Okay, yeah, I guess they all said bye, girl. Oh, there he is. Yeah. This one's literally my favorite. He's like, I'm sunbathing, girl. So this is the Quincy Market. Let's see. I am so hungry. It's crazy to me how, like, I can see Ben and Jerry's, y'all. Who is eating Ben and Jerry's in this cold? So let's go see what we can eat in here. Okay, you guys, I ended up getting the clam chowder from Boston Chowder & Co.
Everybody said it was really good. So this right here was $7. So hopefully it's delicious. I'm rushing because I need to get to the hotel to get my luggage and get to the airport. Because yeah, it's getting close. And we're not missing our plane again. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Y'all, I literally have like 30 minutes to board. So I'll talk to y'all. Maybe not. Okay, bye. Y'all, God have my back. Okay, I had to do a quick little brisk walk. But I don't honestly why B26 was literally the first gate to the right. Thank you. I love that. But yeah, y'all know we board in 7 minutes. I got my pretzels and you already know a Coke Zero. Because girl, that chowder was good. It was kind of thick, so it should hold me over. So yeah, look, we're in economy, y'all, because there was no Delta Comfort on this flight. It was either first or economy. But let's hope that I get those extra drinks we talked about that I usually get there. But yeah, y'all, I had such a good time at the aquarium. It was so fun. I got to meet the turtles, and I mean, y'all saw all the fishes and everything. I mean, I'm just sad that, of course, like there was no penguins because my nephew absolutely loves penguins. But yeah, y'all, it's super warm in this airport. But if it's the last time I talk to y'all, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I met so many incredible people. So all the beautiful people that I got to meet while being here, I'm so grateful for people that were at Wonder, to the people at Boston Opera House who were so kind to me. Who sat behind me? You had Michelle and Leanne. You had Grace at Wonder. You had Kaylania at Wonder. I mean, the hotel staff of the DoubleTree was so nice. Obviously, like my family and new people that I met, they were so sweet. That were my mom's cousins, boyfriend, like friends and family that were also really kind to me. And so yeah, y'all, I loved it here. I loved the snow. Y'all, my parents are so happy to be back in Texas, but I loved it. Another trip for the books, baby. 2026. I told y'all I wasn't playing. Like, I already told y'all how I was coming, how moving, how I'm about to be outside. But yeah, like, and the most important thing about this trip is I didn't buy nothing for this trip.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I ain't buying nothing for this trip. Yeah. But alright, y'all. I'll check you in the next video. Bye, darling.
There's one message you could tell a youth about life.
How you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you, also repels things away from you. Only think about what you want. Forget about what you don't want. Never speak about what you don't have. If it's no enemy on the inside of your mind, no enemy on the outside could ever do you or your body any harm. Don't look out the window. Look in the mirror. Fuck what they say. Fuck how they feel. Do you do what you want to do and be good at it. Just make sure what you do is good to you and for you.
Right.
Out for me. Everything always works out for me. Everything works out for me.